serves as a platform for scholars, writers, and enthusiasts to explore and discuss the multifaceted bond between food and words at all ages. We are glad to have you all here to open the closed cover of Food and Literature. Gracious welcome to all.
It is time for a prayer song that intertwines the essence of nourishment found in words and aroma found in literature. Let's all rise for a prayer song.
There shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be seasons refreshing, sent from the Savior above. Showers of blessing, showers of blessings we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead.
Thank you. May the light of lamp illuminate our path and guide us towards truth and knowledge. I request the dignitaries to light the lamp.
Thank you all. We are privileged to invite our beloved head of the department, Dr. R. Karunambigai, to welcome the gathering to embark on a flavorful journey where words and taste converge.
Good morning to all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to our International Conference on Food and Literature, an Epicurean journey through books. On behalf of the management, principal and secretary, faculty members and students of the PG and Research Department of English of Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science, I render a hearty welcome to Dr. S. Chitra, Assistant Professor and Program Leader, Department of Arts and Humanities, Sherubtse College, Royal University of Bhutan. Sherubtse College is one of the premier institutions of Bhutan, which focuses on nurturing the young minds along with nurturing the environment. Dr. S. Chitra's association with Sherubtse College adds value to its contribution to the nation. Though her career is set in Bhutan, She is very closely associated with Indian institutions and their researches in language and literature. Madam, it is our pleasure to have you here as a keynote speaker for our conference. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Welcome, ma'am. Leaders are great, not simply because of their power, but because of their power to empower others. Today's event and all the other achievements of the college are the effort of the empowerment envisioned by our beloved principal and secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivakumar. Sir, it is our pleasure to have you here in the midst of us. Welcome, sir. The conference is made possible with the sincere efforts of so many. And among them all, first, I would like to welcome our dear participants. Dear participants, you are all the ones who stand behind the big day and the success intertwined with this day. I personally welcome every one of you to our campus. Enjoy your stay here the whole day. Take part in the invaluable academic discussions and take home insightful knowledge and memorable memories. We are all so glad to have you all as our guests today. Welcome you all. A special welcome note to the participants who traveled hundreds of miles to attend the conference and the people who unable to travel but attend the conference virtually. A very special welcome to the participants who have spent their quality time to present a quality research paper in today's conference. You are the people who are going to present brainstorming sessions on multifarious dimensions of food in literature. A special welcome to the participants who present the papers today. This conference is the dream of our department. The dream has come true today with the sincere efforts and the dedication of all the faculty members and the students of the department. Among them all, first, I cordially welcome the coordinators of the conference, Dr. S. Vijayalakshmi and Dr. Mary Velangani. Next, I render a hearty welcome to all the faculty members of our department and other departments. A special welcome to the students of the department. The involvement of the undergraduate and postgraduate students and the scholars of the department is visible in every aspect of this conference, and it is always my pleasure to welcome each one of them. Food is an integral part of cultural identity. The food and its preparation methods, techniques involved, and social customs serve as a reminder of the past and provide a connection to historic and cultural roots. Literature, on the whole, represents all these, and we believe this conference will provide a platform to deliberate on all these topics. The pleasure is ours in hosting this event. You have all honored us by being here. Once again, I welcome you all to the inauguration ceremony of our international conference. Enjoy the Epicurean exploration of the journey today. Welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
We request our Principal and Secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivakumar, to present a fruit basket to the Honorable Chief Guest of the day, Dr. S. Chitra, Assistant Professor and Program Leader, Department of Arts and Humanities, Sherubtse College, Royal University of Bhutan. Thank you. The salt is to food. What is the soul is to the body. So is a principle for our institution. A principal embodies a great leadership by being a true mentor, creating an atmosphere where students feel not just educated but nurtured. In times of academic challenges, he is the beacon of encouragement. I welcome our respected Principal and Secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivakumar, to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you so much. See, the most difficult thing for non-English people to attend English class, right? Because we always will be afraid when the teacher will ask a question, right? So, அந்த சூழ்நிலையில் தான் நானும் இருக்கேன் இன்னைக்கு, right? Anyhow, at the outset, I would like to congratulate the entire team of English, Dr. Karnambige and his team and all the students for simple reason the topic today they've chosen for the conference, food. The only item which all of us we love. Do you agree or don't agree? We love 3 days, 3 times in a day. Some of us, like me, we love food 5 times a day. Adanalda we put more weight. That is totally different, right? So this food, you take an animal, it eats food only for survival. But that is not the case for human being, right? We eat food for survival, no doubt, but we also eat food for social cause, tradition, etc., etc., culture, etc., etc. Now, when you combine food and literature, it is going to be fantastic, no doubt about it. And today I heard that about 117 papers will be presented in the conference. At the end of the conference, I hope you will come with many different ideas, recipes, menu, so that we people can eat better from tomorrow. All the best for the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We delve into the delectable convergence of food and literature today. We are delighted to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, Dr. S. Chitra, Assistant Professor and Program Leader, Department of Arts and Humanities, Sherubtse College, Royal University of Bhutan. Dr. Chitra is a vibrant personality who transforms the life of students with her enlightening wisdom. She is a distinguished academic luminary with a rich blend of intellect and seasoned expertise. Her lectures, a feast of insight, leave students craving for more knowledge. With a robust foundation of wisdom, she spices up discussions, adding a dash of brilliance to every academic dish. Her teaching style, like a fine aged cheese, matures over time, leaving a lingering impact on the academic palate. She has earned certifications from TKT and IELTS. Her teaching and leadership experience is so vast and profound, which is reflected in her major areas of teaching. She has supervised 34 research proposals and 32 dissertations. She has also been the panelist for English Honors Research Project Defense 1 and 2 and a part of funded research projects. She has been invited to act as a resource person by various institutions and has delivered keynote address at 24 international conferences. Her achievements in the literary arena are unbeaten. She has presented research papers in 50 plus national and international seminars and conferences. She has been an editorial board member and reviewer for various books, articles, and research papers. Her academic journey is amazing. Let's all join her intellectual banquet and savor the educational flavors she brings to the forum. Ma'am, the dais is yours.
Thank you, dear, for your very warm introduction. It's heartwarming, and I'm deeply touched by your sweet note of welcome and the creativity with which you have organized this conference. Is it okay?
starting from the theme of the conference. Madam Karunambigai have been discussing with me for quite some time about this theme and the way it has come out, the way she has shaped. The whole team, they have put a lot of efforts to shape this theme, and today it's concrete. And you're all here, and I'm so glad. There is no word to express my feelings. I'm deeply, deeply touched by the welcome that you are showering on me. Thank you for having me with you all today. Respected Principal and Secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivakumar, he has made my inaugural address very easy by opening up the journey for the topic. So thank you, sir, for making it very practical and connecting it with people. That's what I intend to talk about today. Respected dignitaries, participants from different colleges, I'm happy to address you all. I will just brief on the conference theme in this as an inaugural note. When it comes to food, the first question is, have you all had your breakfast? Yeah. Hungry minds cannot receive the input. At the same time, after lunch, post-lunch session in conferences is always feared because we tend to doze off. So this is how food becomes part and parcel of our life, and it is a common daily occurrence. So do we give any thought to it? But if we think about food, most of the time and energy, money, and creativity is spent toward eating, isn't it? We work for our stomach. We work to have the 3 meals. So it is such a daily occurrence, it's so part of our life cycle that we tend to ignore it at times. But this intellectual endeavor is making us think deeper about the social meanings and the cultural value that food carries in our lives. So let's ponder and let's think. When we eat something, so what is this on my plate signify? How this food is related with human experience. So it is consumed by human beings for our survival and for our well-being, more than survival, for our well-being, but then food itself is an experience in itself. It is a connection between people and human experience, isn't it? So food studies. This is becoming very popular in the universities abroad as an academic discipline, and it's an academic endeavor offered as a curriculum in most of the institutions in United States and other countries. We have had culture studies earlier, which is predominantly offered as part of the curriculum in most of the Indian universities too. But food studies is becoming a sub-branch of culture studies. When we say food studies, is it the study of food? Are we going to talk only about the nutritional value? Is it going to deal with production, consumption, and aesthetic appreciation of food? Not necessarily. Since food is connected with human experience, it has an encompassing array of disciplines inside it, and it is an interdisciplinary and a multidisciplinary study that can be connected with various disciplines like sociology, economics, education, anthropology, literature, history, economics and education, because there is home economics. There is a journal known as Home Economics that talk about food. So this is how there is a vast dimension added to food studies from socio-cultural and historical perspective, as well as it has political connotation and economic connotation to it. So this culinary experience and culinary world is a remarkable sphere to be explored. In my keynote address, I will also be talking about some of the research domains. For now, let me just brief you on the food habits that we have. Because there is a popular saying, you are what you eat. So who are we? food makes us. We become somebody through food. So the emphasis is you are what you eat. So it decides our attitudes, beliefs, our personality, our assumptions about food. Everything is decided by this food culture, which is known as food waste. Sometimes it becomes habit. We are habituated to certain kind of food, and eaters can be classified as good food eaters and bad food eaters based on the habits. So good food eaters, you can now find yourselves in which classification you belong to. Let me just say good food eaters are described by 3 labels. They are thin, active, and fit. So these are the 3 labels that categorize good food eaters, and you can decide where you fit into, whether you are good food eaters or bad food eaters. So this is one classification. And another study divides the food into 5 different diet types. It is called, fast food. Fast food, then synthetic food, health food, vegetarian, and also gourmet food. Sometimes we eat certain dishes only to fulfill and satisfy our taste buds. So they are gourmet food, not good for health, but good for the tongue, good for the taste. So these are the different types of diet that can decide our personality. See how interesting this study is, because food consumed by people is related to human experience, and this human experience is so abundantly filled with information that makes into a vibrant and a new area of study that can be interdisciplinary in itself. And food and culture, this association we cannot tend to miss, we cannot overlook. And food and identity. For instance, food and culture. So it tells us ample number of things. Whenever we go out to dine, there are so many factors that we think about to decide where to dine out today, okay? So the question of what, where, how, and why determines the cultural, and it becomes a status symbol sometimes. Where to dine, where to go and spend our time and our money. So the value of food, the meal, the atmosphere, the ambience in that hotel, and nutritional value of the food, the emotional satisfaction that we derive by visiting a place. We take into account so many things, including the cost value of food, isn't it? This is how we make a selection of the restaurants whenever we plan to dine out. So this, the what, where, how, and why, all these questions are integral part of food culture. And what brings us closer to the food is the food that we had in our childhood, the food that is prepared in home. Most of the hostelites will be missing home food. It is not that you are not eating, but home food is something different. So food prepared in home and food with family brings the ties of the people. It is not just about nutritional value, it is about relationship, it's a bonding, it's a heritage with ancestors, and down the line, food culture and food tradition is passed down, and till today, it brings people together, it creates family ties and strengthens the relationship. So in this sense, we will be exploring more about food culture, food and identity, and how it decides one personality. These are some interesting aspects of this conference theme, which we will be exploring further. And I'm eager to listen to different papers that will be presented today, and that's going to be a value addition to this conference. Let me thank a huge and a big thanks to Dr. Karunambigai, who have been communicating with me for quite some time, and even before this communication about conference, our association is established for 4 years now, since 2020, by my participation in BOS meeting of this college to provide academic comments on the syllabus validation. And her team, okay, not only madam and her team, she has introduced me her wonderful team of experienced and also the young and vibrant team who are the backbone of this department, that is PG and Research Department of English. My good wishes to the entire team of English, to the college to reach newer and greater heights, and to all the participants who are here from in and around Coimbatore from different parts. A hearty welcome to you all and eager to listen to you, and let's deliberate on food. Thank you.
I believe this is the right time to share a few details about the institution with you. Ours is the first institution which started catering science and hotel management as a degree program in the year 1987. Usually it is offered as a diploma course. Ours is the first institution which introduced it under the degree category. And our institution is the first institution which got its autonomous status in the year 2004. So from 2004, not only the Department of English, all the other departments keep on introducing the new areas in the syllabus, and they keep on enhancing the skills of the students to their career enhancement. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. You served us knowledge with deep insights by leaving a taste of erudition lingering in every student's mind. Thank you, madam.
The book of abstract is our collective success. I request our respected principal and secretary to release the book of abstract, and I request our honorable chief guest to receive it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
We are grateful to present a memento to our esteemed chief guest. We request our principal and secretary to present a memento to Dr. S. Chitra, assistant professor and program leader, Department of Arts and Humanities, Sherubtse College, Royal University of Bhutan. Thank you.
Showing gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful things human can do for each other. I invite Dr. S. Vijayalakshmi, the coordinator of the conference, to deliver vote of thanks.
A pleasant morning to all. I feel honored to express my intense gratitude to everyone who are gathered here to reflect upon the fascinating confluence of flavors and narratives at a one-day international conference on food and literature, an Epicurean journey through books. In the world of literature, culinary descriptions are not mere embellishments. They are the threads that weave the fabric of culture and emotion, creating tapestry of shared human experiences. This conference has been a celebration of the connections between the written work and the world of gastronomy, exploring how stories are told through the language of taste and how culinary experiences find expressions in the written form. It is with immense pleasure I express my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. S. Chitra, Assistant Professor and Program Leader, Sherubtse College, Royal University of Bhutan, for her invaluable presence. Her illuminating inaugural address set the tone for this conference, providing profound insights at the crossroads of food and literature. Ma'am, your wisdom has undoubtedly enriched our understanding of this fascinating intersection. Thank you, ma'am. I express my heartfelt thanks to our management for providing us the resources, infrastructure, and encouragement which has enabled us to create a platform where scholars, researchers, and academicians can converge to celebrate the richness of literature. My sincere thanks to our principal and secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivkumar, for his unwavering support and guidance for this conference. Sir, your leadership has been instrumental in shaping this conference into a milestone event in the academic calendar. Thank you, sir. I extend my thanks to Dr. R. Karnambige, Head, Department of English, for her mentorship and dedication to the academic community. Her leadership has been a beacon, guiding us through the intricate preparations and ensuring the success of this conference. Thank you, ma'am. My heartfelt gratitude to all the faculty members for their significant role in organizing this conference. Together, we embark on an Epicurean journey that promises not only academic depth, but also a celebration of our shared pursuit of knowledge. I thank our student volunteers whose hard work has not only made this conference possible, but has also created an environment where ideas flourish and connections are nurtured. I extend my heartfelt thanks to all our participants who have been the heartbeat of this scholarly gathering. Thank you, participants. I express my deepest gratitude to each one of you who worked tirelessly behind the scenes, weaving the threads that bring this event to life. As we embark the journey of the International Conference on Food and Literature, let us carry us the inspiration and knowledge gained from this inaugural session, and let the Epicurean journey through literature continue to inspire and delight in the days to come. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. We have come to the end of the inauguration ceremony of the conference. The keynote address will begin after a short break. We request you all to take We request you all to take a 30 minutes break for tea and assemble here in the same hall for the keynote address. The tea is served in the open space between C block and D block. I repeat, The tea is served in the open space between C block and D block ground floor. Our volunteers will guide you all. Kind attention, please. The session will resume sharply at 12. The session will resume sharply at 12.
Once again, I welcome you all for this wonderful conference, which is on a unique theme that has brought us together. And I congratulate the team from Department of English for this grand and great initiative on food. So without food, what are we and who are we? We are what we eat. This is what is making us deliberate on this theme. Shall we begin? Yes? So when I got this conference theme, Food and Literature, an Epicurean journey through books, I have decided the topic of my talk in such a way I can bring a new cultural upbringing to the audience here. So I intend to talk on Bhutanese food tradition, which will be rather unique and new for the listeners. So the title goes like this: Ubiquitous Datsing. Okay, it's the name of your dish. And through this, it becomes a means to explore the socio-cultural meanings of food in Bhutanese tradition. This is what I intend to look at. What I talk about, when I talk about Bhutanese tradition, I will pick examples of the food varieties and their customs, social customs and practices that is followed. But I would like to fit that into a larger framework. And the framework is related to food studies. As I told you during the inaugural, food studies is not about the study of food. So what food studies mean? Does the study of food means food studies? Yes or no? Not really, okay? So what is it? What is it then? It's a combination of three things: an intricate and complex relationship among food, culture, and society. This is what is termed as food studies. And literature is an integral part of it, which we cannot skip when we talk about food, culture, and society. But beyond literature, it's an interdisciplinary area that talks about a variety of perspectives. It brings together a variety of perspectives that lead to multidisciplinary aspect to this field, encompassing art, sociology, education, economics, health, and social justice, literature too, along with history and anthropology. These domains, when they integrate, it becomes a multidisciplinary study in itself that offers many varieties and abundant opinions about food with lot of information. Here, let's first fix our attention to people's relationship with food experience. This is what is going to make the session lively by talking about people's experience and relationship with food in terms of food and culture, food habits, food and identity. These are inseparable when we talk about food studies. I'm going to debunk the conference theme. It states an Epicurean journey through books. But the question I pose before you is, why do we need to study food in a non-Epicurean manner? Because it is not about production. It's not about consumption or aesthetic appreciation of food. It's beyond that. That makes the experience of eating a non-Epicurean experience. It is not just a delight, but something more to it, with the symbols, meanings, use, and geographical features related to agricultural practices, and why do we eat certain things, what, how, why, where, and when. All these questions are knitted together when we try to address the question of non-Epicurean manner of food and eating. Food choices. When we talk about food choices, it exposes two things. It talks about an individual's beliefs and practices, as well as a group's beliefs, practices, their perspectives with lot of background knowledge, assumptions, and personalities. That is why food choices expose the group as well as the individual and bring them together. It tells stories, okay? The food we choose and eat. The food choices tell us stories of families. So the tradition that we hand over from one generation to another, what our ancestors have had. Because Karaikudi and Chettinad, if we talk about South Indian context, they have their own food tradition, isn't it? So every place and every community is so uniquely tied to food that food choices tell stories. Stories of families, stories of migrations, assimilations, resistance. Certain food we don't eat. Okay, why do we don't eat? There is a kind of resistance and changes that happens to food and dishes over time, as well as personal and group identity. All these are related and an integral part of the food choices that we make. Simply, we cannot just eat and fill our stomach. It has vital meaning and deeper deliberation attached to it. This is what food studies challenges the researchers. It asks the researchers to delve into the common daily occurrence of eating 3 meals a day. It is a common daily occurrence, isn't it? So research compels us to look into the common daily occurrence of eating and not to just brush away that experience, but to find deeper meaning in this everyday practice of eating. In terms of food habits, food culture, which is nothing but food ways, and also food and culture and food and identity. So these are the manifold perspectives that this domain unfold by relating food with human experience. And the question arises, as I told you, why do we need to study food in a non-Epicurean manner? Since there are many researchers present here, I would like to give you the research scope that is present in this domain, which will be fruitful for your research endeavors. Actually, this food studies makes the researchers' job very challenging. It challenges the researchers to delve into the common daily occurrence of eating in order to find deeper meaning that is associated with food. It can be related to social, cultural, historical, political, economic, and health. With all these domains, the meaning can be integrated, and you can make a thesis for 250 pages by a selection of books by talking about its relation in different domains from different perspectives. In that sense, it is truly an interdisciplinary and a multidisciplinary field in itself. And it helps us to examine and frame our research objectives by asking the question to examine the what type of food certain community eat, where, for example, the dining experience, where to dine, why certain food is considered as a taboo, or why certain social customs are observed. Whenever we celebrate any festivity, food becomes the prime object of the festivity, okay? We buy new dress because dress is also a cultural symbol. But what defines every festivity, be it Diwali, Pongal, whatever festivals in a small scale or in a big scale, feasting or fasting, even how to break the fast after Ekadashi, the next day, the Ekadashi, because we celebrated Vaikunta Ekadashi recently in December, on December 23rd. So that is a day we observe fasting, isn't it? That is a Hindu ritual. Why do we observe fasting on that day? And why do we break the fast early the next morning, the day followed by Ekadashi, known as Dwadasi? So there are reasons and customs observed in everyday practice, in every ritual. It is connected with our religion, which also defines and becomes our way of life. So why do we do that? And how our food choices and habits, food and culture, food and identity are integrated? Why are they combined together? The research can also help us to debunk certain food stereotypes, and it can promote acceptance of certain foods across individuals and groups. There is a saying, it is a familiar saying that epitomizes the idea of food and identity. The saying is, you are what you eat. The scholars like Kittler, Sucher, and Nems coined the term food habits, which is also known as food culture or food ways, in order to describe the manner in which humans use food. How we use food. It includes everything from how the food is chosen, what do we choose to eat, okay? Today, what is the menu? What should I prepare? In all our households, as mothers and as youngsters, your mothers will be always planning, no? Tomorrow, what should be the breakfast? What should be the lunch? It is an everyday planner in our life. So it includes everything when we say food habits, food culture, or food ways. It starts with what should be chosen, how it should be acquired and distributed, to the extent of who prepares, serves. Serving is another art, and who is going to eat it. All these define the food habits and the food ways. Okay, it includes everything. And the researchers, the scholars also state the significance of the food habits process. They call food habits as not just a one-time habit, it's a process because it's unique to human beings, though it is repetitive. The process is repetitive, but the repetitive process makes it very unique to define our identity and our cultural being, and it is a signifier of our social and cultural positions in society. So let us ponder. Together, let us ponder some of the questions. Why do people spend so much of their time, energy? Just think your daily routine. Morning, as you wake up, how do you spend your entire day? Apart from work, the time we spend to prepare our food, to decide the menu, to acquire the materials, and to prepare the food, that time, if we calculate, it will be amazing. We are spending enormous majority of our time for this purpose. In spite of the automated machines, in thinking and planning, if we include all the time that is involved in food preparation, the time that is involved, the energy we put in preparing the food, money and creativity on eating, because the way the food is presented. Now, preparation alone is not a means, or it's not an end in itself. Preparation is one part and presentation of the food is another part. So this is where creativity, human creativity, is applied in the preparation and presentation of food. And daily when you sit to eat, ask yourself this question, which will open up certain new dimensions toward food. What does the food on my plate signify? We always ask this question when we visit a new place, isn't it? Or when we taste a new dish. What is this? What is this dish? How it is made of? So this makes us very curious eaters. And how do food practices contribute to personal identity? Because it is a social and a cultural signifier, and it determines our cultural identity too. And these are the fundamental questions that are associated with food, which let us ponder today together. What matters the most is food and society, because food can be a source of pleasure sometimes or peril. So some food tend to upset our stomach. Some food might create allergy. It is not only a source of pleasure, it can also be a peril. It can be a means of bonding or separation. But above all, it determines the unique aspect of a society. The difference and uniqueness of a society are shaped by the following factors. Geographical features. Food varies because of the geographical features and the resultant agricultural practices followed in that region. Certain vegetables and certain spices will be very popular due to these reasons. And the ways in which they use food. It is not only to eat and satiate our hunger, it can be associated with a lot of religious rituals too. And people's relationship. How people relate themselves to the environment. This can be seen from the farmer's viewpoint. How do they relate their farming practices with the environment? The humility and the humbleness and the hard work with which food is produced also determines the value of food production. On the whole, totality, availability of food, its use, meanings that it generates in the form of symbols and ceremony create a society by bringing food and society together, and uniqueness makes every society special. Some of the research dimensions I would like to dwell upon are, this I spoke about during my inaugural talk also. Let me refer to the researchers, Sadala and Burrows, in their book published in 1981. They conducted a survey on individuals, and here they asked the individuals to perceive themselves. We are all consumers of food. How do we look at us as consumers of food? And how do we look at others who consume food? And how others will look at us when we eat and when we consume certain food? So this is how the dietary habit is classified into 5 different habits, 5 different diet patterns, categorized as fast food. You all know what falls under that. Then health food, synthetic food. Then another classification is called vegetarian. Then comes gourmet food, the food that satisfies our taste buds. I will give you 2 minutes to do a pair work and a simple exercise to list 3 dishes under each of these 5 categories. Shall we have this exercise? You can just discuss. Under each category, just mention 3 dishes. Five diets are, you have to recall. Open our, open means fast food, synthetic food, health food, vegetarian, and gourmet food. Yeah, time over. We will move to the next topic. So from these 5 different diets, let's spin our focus on certain observations on food practices, and these observations are on Bhutanese food practices. And these observations are made by foreigners on Bhutanese cuisine. A foreign observer by name Frances Pomrey, in her book, A Guidebook on Bhutan, says, Bhutanese food lack variety. So you will tend to know in the course of my talk why this observation has been made that it lacks variety. And there is another comment which says, Bhutanese food is neither sophisticated, it is not very rich in taste, but nor artificial also. It is not synthetic, it is not fast food, it is not artificial, but it is rather fresh. Let us take into account a farmer's viewpoint, which is very vital, who is engaged in the food production. A farmer says, food is to fill your stomach, but the emphasis is on hard work, which is put in to produce food. And there is a saying that goes like this: the meat must be ground well to fill the sausage, emphasizing to ensure that we have food, we have to put in a lot of hard work, we have to exert our muscles to ensure that there is food to eat. So this is the primary objective of food production. So it has to happen only through hard work. And one example of a grain, let me give, that demands a very tough and hard work of farmers. It is a kind of wheat. The image is here. It is known as buckwheat. We know grains like rice, maize, wheat, etc., soya beans and other varieties. But this is one variety that is grown in cold, high altitude places in Bhutan. And this variety of food is known as buckwheat, which is of two types, bitter in taste and sweet in taste. These are the two types of buckwheat that is made into a flour in order to create pancakes. This is, the cultivation of this buckwheat is very hard work, back-breaking. It is described as hand blistering and sweaty. But research findings show that buckwheat is a very healthy food, especially for mountaineers who live in a very cold place. In that high altitude place, they need a lot of energy. Even for small movement, for their daily work engagement, they need a lot of energy, and they have to consume food with high protein and fiber. This food fulfills those needs and requirements. And research study also has proven that it has a positive effect on blood glucose in people with type 2 diabetes, and it is shown to lower blood pressure as well as the lipids to lower cholesterol. See how many benefits this food has, which is very difficult to cultivate. And due to the mountain terrain and the difficulty involved in cultivation, it is not exported. It is all self-sustainable agricultural practices in Bhutan. They sustain themselves from what they cultivate, including vegetables. So you might wonder that even till today, kitchen garden is a household practice. Every house, big or small, will have a kitchen garden attached to their house, and people cultivate greens like sag or coriander leaves, chilies, cabbage, brinjal, carrot. So these seeds are used to cultivate from the agricultural ministry. They supply the seeds, and every household maintains a kitchen garden. So just you can go pluck and you can put it on the kadai and start cooking. It's so fresh. The aroma and the fragrance and the health point of view, the food is not stored in refrigerators, rather it is fresh from the garden. That results in simplicity as well as health. But there is also another side to it. There is a negative observation about Bhutanese food. How many of you have visited Bhutan? Anybody? Okay, yet to visit, you are most welcome. And how many of you have watched YouTube videos on Bhutanese food? Okay, in the interest of time, let me accelerate my presentation. The Bhutanese food is generally termed as hot and fatty, and the dietary habits are not very healthy, is a general observation that has been made, which is also partially true. Okay, this is the image of the buckwheat field, which is so pink in color and makes the atmosphere, the environment so colorful. So this is why the dasi, okay, it is a cottage cheese that is produced in every household, and this is used in every dish that they make. This cheese is combined with chili. So obviously it is going to be a fiery dish. It is known as dasi. Okay, that is the title of my talk, which is very unique to Bhutan and called as the national dish. The main source of protein is from cottage cheese, and this cottage cheese is naturally fermented. If we go to West, cheese is part and parcel of their diet. But what differentiates the cheese in Bhutan is there is a chemical known as regent that is used as a starter in Western cheese industry. Whereas in Bhutan, natural fermentation of cheese with the acidity of the buttermilk gives a certain sour taste to the cheese, but it is not liquid, it is solid and it is tight, and the fresh cheese is used in almost all the vegetables. Every vegetable is cooked with cheese. That adds to the distinct taste and flavor and makes Bhutanese cuisine very unique. So these are the pictures of the chili and the cheese. Chilies are of three types: green chili, dried red chili, dried and blanched white chili. These three chilies are smothered with cheese so that chili and cheese become the diet of Bhutanese, and that's why it is considered to be hot and fatty and not very healthy. But being mountain, they walk a lot. They have to walk a lot and climb the mountains by carrying their groceries. So health point of view does not come. Today it is an issue because of the sedentary lifestyle and because of movement by cars. But usually in rural Bhutan, the traditional food is healthy. From literature point of view, this is a book I would like to introduce to you all. This book is titled Chili and Cheese, Food and Society in Bhutan. This is written by the first and foremost woman writer in Bhutan who has collected and documented the folk tales of Bhutan. The credit goes to her, and also she is a writer with a few novels that has the scope for research. So this book is connected with food and society, and it gives different aspects of the Bhutanese food practices. That runs to 20 chapters and has 200 plus pages, and it is a picture book and a documented book, because when it comes to food, limited documentation is there, and this book is a rich source of wealth when it comes to documentation on food and social customs. You can see for yourself, this is the image of the writer, and she is in the traditional attire, and I have given you the cover page of the book, and a lot of cheese varieties that is used as snack. Even the snacks are made of rice, or it is made of cheese, dried cheese as well as fresh cheese, but cheese is always combined with chili. So Kunsan Chodan, a very popular writer, is also a food enthusiast, and this is the basis for her. She says, experiencing the transformation, due to the transformation in the society and due to the inevitable loss of aspects of food culture in Bhutan, and due to her own passion, this is what has compelled her to come up with this book, by listening to elderly people and tapping the intergenerational collective wisdom by means of informal interviews, observations, and she adds her own personal experiences in order to write this book, which is a rich source on this particular topic. So are you I could first image, let's make dumplings. And Bhutan is famous for those dumplings known as momo. Momo and chili paste. It is served with chili paste, and you can see how the chilies are smothered with cheese. You can see the different varieties of chilies. It's very colorful and source of protein, and it's a very high energy diet for the mountaineers because they have to climb a lot. It is a mountain terrain over the Himalayas. Even their pickle, in every dish, chili is part and parcel. You won't believe that chili is always bought in kilograms. They won't buy 100 or 200 grams. They will buy 5 kg. 5 kg of chili, and if chili is not available during a particular time of the year, they can't eat without chili. They fear that I don't know how to cook without chili. I don't know how to eat without chili is their concern and crisis. So it is stored and preserved. Storing and preserving is done in a very simple way. It is just sun-dried on the roof. Every roof of the house will be red in color because chilies will be spread all over the tin-sheeted roof, and that's how chili is dried naturally, and it is stored and preserved during the season when it's not available. Especially during winter, it's very scarce. So, but without that, cooking cannot happen. Even vegetables are dried and preserved. Pumpkins are cut into slices. They are dried and preserved, and that's how during winter, this is my winter vacation. December to January is the peak winter season. This time, availability of vegetable will be very limited. So dried vegetables will be used by Bhutanese household along with cheese. Cheese is part and parcel of their diet. So this is the story of the chili. How chili came to Bhutan, nobody ever knows. But they have started relishing this. Originally, chili belonged to South America. And from there, around the 16th century, 400 to 500 years back, when it came to Bhutan, when it came to India, especially the Calcutta chili, it was known as, that's what researchers have documented it. From Calcutta, it became nearer to come to Bhutan through the northern passes, and that's how they tasted this flavor. But you will also have to note, chili is the only spice that has entered into Bhutan of all the diverse Indian spices. India is known for diverse spices, and India is a neighboring country for Bhutan. Indo-Bhutan relationship is very famous. It's still an ongoing relationship, but none other spice has entered into this community except for chili. So they protect their identity and their sovereignty very much by not falling a victim to the spices of other countries. They make it very limited. What they like the most, they use it, but otherwise they prefer local cuisine and local food. This is how their identity is safeguarded and preserved, because if you look at the geographical location of Bhutan, it is a very small country with 7 lakh population only. I was talking to Sir Principal, and he told Coimbatore itself has 4 lakh population. So imagine the entire country of Bhutan has only 7 lakh population. And nowadays, most of them are heading to Australia for higher studies, and they work and study there. So the population is also drastically reducing. So they preserve their identity because geographically it is sandwiched between India and China, the most populous countries on both the sides. So this is also one of the reasons. So rice and chili, chili and rice. Foreigners who visit Bhutan make this statement because all the time they are served only rice and chili or chili and rice. So they are fed up. They are thoroughly bored by these dishes. But the natives support their dish by saying, outsiders are not appreciating the vegetable versatility, because chili is not a spice for them, it is considered to be a vegetable for them. So they consider it as a very versatile vegetable, and they want outsiders to appreciate. So those who visit Bhutan has to form an impression. We cannot help but form an impression about this dish and this substance, because we cannot be neutral. Either we have to like it or dislike it, or we have to wonder and amaze how Bhutanese take this chili, this much amount. So we are just flabbergasted and bewildered by the way they relish this gourmet. It is a subsistence agrarian society that follows Buddhism, and the Buddhism is from Tibet. And there are also many Tibetans who settled in Bhutan long ago. It has different communities, Tibetans, Bhutanese, and also Nepali communities known as Loshampa. So we can find a socio-cultural mix. Okay? Tibetans and Bhutanese follow Buddhism, and they use food in all their rituals, rice in all their rituals, whereas Nepali community follow Hindu norms and Hindu religious practices. So this is how this country is diverse, not in a very larger scale, but in a smaller version. The 9 basic crops are rice, wheat, barley, peas, buckwheat, then millet and mustard, and maize. Maize is ground, and it is also combined with rice and cooked, and this is again another nutritious diet, and it is also farmer's diet. There is a legend about Guru Padmasambhava. He is a saint of Indian origin. The legend goes like this. In the earlier days, there were annual crops that people enjoyed without cultivating anything. The crop grows by itself. But today we all know it is just a legend, because due to the depletion of humans' merit and the earth's essence, we have to cultivate our food and eat. That is why hard work is put in. We have to exert our muscles to ensure that there is enough food to eat. So this is the local term, toza. To means food, and here food indicates rice, and rice is the staple food. And it will be another surprising fact for you that there are no sweet dishes. Since they take a very hot food like chili, they are not endeared to sweet food. So the only sweet dish that is prepared is with a rice known as gondril rice, and this is made during special occasions by adding sugar and little bit of jaggery and then saffron to change the color into yellow. The white rice is changed into yellow color, and the sugar will be so mild. It is fried with butter and added saffron, cashew nuts, and raisins. And this dish, along with butter tea, is served on special occasions. So do you add salt to your tea? But in Himalayas, people add salt and butter to their tea. And this tea is churned with butter and seasoned with salt. So this suja and desi. It is known as suja desi. Desi is the rice, aromatic sweet rice. And suja is the drink, which is pale pink in color. But in cold place, it is very nourishing to drink that during the cold climate. And all the cereals that are taken as breakfast are also prepared out of rice. It is not chips. They don't take chips, but instead they take puffed rice or za, rice that is roasted. So this is what is served along with tea. Wherever we go, for visitors it is served, and then in household they take that as a breakfast. So this shows the vital role of rice and how staple it is. In different dimensions, rice is used. So these are the varieties of rice. It is famous for red rice, But as I told you, the agricultural is just a sustainable practice. Then I'm going to intoxicate you. I don't know whether my talk intoxicates you or not, but then there is food and beverage go hand in hand. It is known as chang. Chang is a generic term for alcoholic drinks, and these indigenous local alcohol are produced from grains. They are made out of grains, anything starting from rice. Rice is fermented in order to produce this drink. Along with rice, millet, maize, wheat, buckwheat, all these different types of grains are used by fermenting them to produce the local alcohol. And this alcohol drink is taken by everyone. It cuts through the entire cross-section of the Bhutanese society, and there is no hierarchy. Everyone takes it. In almost all the gatherings, it is served. We have a lot of gatherings. As formal and informal gatherings, we have our meetings and we pitch a tent and we gather around the fire, which is known as bonfire, during VIP visits and during members from university when they visit us. We all gather together and first drinks will be served along with the tea and butter tea and some snacks, and then we go for dinner or lunch. So beverage is a very common activity. Apart from, let me show you the picture. These are all the drinks. Apart from the bottled drinks, the druk products. Bhutan's products are labeled as druk because the traditional name of the country is Drukyul. Druk, D-R-U-K. It is known as Drukyul. That is the traditional name of the country. And the products are druk products. But apart from the druk beverages, locally homemade and home brewed alcohol is available throughout the year, and it is very famous. It is served to visitors, as well as it is used in religious rituals. So at the sacred level, as well as at the secular level, beverages are commonly used. These are the three types. The names end with chang, because chang is the generic term for local alcohol. Singchang, Bangchang, and Ara. Ara is distilled. It is very deceptive. It looks like water. So many a times it so happened that some of my Indian colleagues during the gathering, after taking beer, they thought that drink which is kept in the bottle is water, and they drank that also. So two liquids mixed and made them more intoxicated. So such happenings are very common. And it's a kind of open and a very simple and flexible society without much fuss over things. So this, let me skip. If we take the Bhutanese kitchen, it is a place where all the activities take place around the heater. Since most of the regions are cold, so there is a hearth, fireplace, and people sit on the floor around the fireplace and take their food. So firewood is a primary requirement even for a modernized hearth. And water usage will be very less due to the cold climate. So the first rice ball is used to clean the hand, and it is kept away. And then a bit of rice is used to make an offering with a short prayer, and any beverage, whatever drink, be it water or alcohol or tea, they will dip their right red finger into the liquid and just flip it into the air. That is an offering to the deity with a prayer internally. So this is a common social custom and a cultural practice. And a kitchen is a hub of activity where all of them will gather and they eat their food together. So that is how they enjoy their simple life. So these are some of the pictures, and these colorful pictures are known as torma. So these are made in lakangs. In Buddhist monasteries, this kind of offerings are made, which is a dove offering. They make a dove and decorate it with pieces of colored butter, and these butter offerings are made in the Buddhist monasteries. So butter, cheese, chili, rice, this is part and parcel of their life. Offering is made to deities known as 3 jewels or 3 gems. The primary god is Buddha, and Buddha combined with Dharma and Sangha. So we all know the saying, Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dharmam Saranam Gacchami, Sangam Saranam Gacchami. That is the community. So they live as a community, as a group, and the community cohesion is very strong. Whenever there is a festivity, people come together and they bring packed lunch. And mostly they sit in groups on a grass patch because it has a lot of open space. Nowadays in cars, they bring the hot pack lunch. They bring a big Chinese thermos flask filled with tea, and they take tea along with their meal by sitting around in a circle and enjoy the festivity. And then if it is night, there will be bonfire and people will sing and dance. Only today for karaoke, we have audio songs, but for any cultural gathering, most of the Bhutanese can sing. They sing and they dance around the fire, and this is how they enjoy their life. So life cycle and food. When it comes to life cycle, the usage of alcohol is part and parcel of life along with food. See, look at the order I have positioned the points. I'm not using marriage first. So deliberately I have made it like this because it reflects the social practice of pregnancy, birth, marriage, and death. Because marriage is not considered very formal or holy or sacred. It is very casual and it is considered informal. Whereas death is celebrated. During death, rituals are performed for days together. That is borrowed from Tibetan Buddhism, the idea of 21 days and 49 days, because Tibetans believe in Bordol. That is, the conscience will leave the body, and after 21 days, it will realize that the conscience will realize, okay, I am not attached with the body. So that detachment gradually happens. It is not that once the breath stops, the conscience also leaves the body. It takes some time to detach itself from the body. So they give that space of 14 days and 21 days. And during these days, food occupies a primary place in all the rituals. Guests are served with food and beverage because that is considered as merit making. On behalf of the dead, the relatives and the near and dear ones spend money on food so that they can earn merit. So the value of merit and karma is believed because Buddhism believes in life, death, and afterlife. It believes in rebirth. So on 49th day, after that ritual, the spirit is reborn into a new life form is the belief. So all these religious rituals also uses food. When it comes to feeding rituals for the dead and for marriage, the union is not celebrated, but then live together. Then once the woman is pregnant, it is announced that they are married. And we celebrate the English New Year on January 1st and Tamil New Year on April 14th. Like that, Bhutanese New Year falls according to the Chinese calendar in the month of February. That is a truly Epicurean moment, which is known as Loser. where abundant flow of milk and food is available in every house with all sorts of meat dishes. The Lama who unified Bhutan is revered on this occasion. He is known as Shabdrung Nawang Namge. He is a Lama from Tibet who came and unified Bhutan, which was fragmented by petty rulers in the 18th and 19th century. So this is the historical celebration, and Guru Padmasambhava actually severed the demons. He subdued the demons. So this saint is of Indian origin. So you can see the religious influence from Tibet on the one hand and from India on the other hand, where saints and lamas came from different parts. So Guru Padmasambhava subdued the demons. So there is also a social custom of chewing betel nut. So the image I have shown, it is not the areca nut that we use here, it is fermented. The fermented areca nut with betel leaf and lime paste itself is a little strong and it makes one giddy, but it is used to generate heat in the body so that you sweat during the cold weather and feel good. Because during cold we don't sweat. So by chewing doma pani, they sweat and they feel good, and it is also a sign of goodwill gesture because it is exchanged. Whenever they meet each other, they exchange doma. By exchanging doma, their hospitality is extended. Sampa, that is Nepali, their Hindu culture on the other. So one celebration that is considered to be a holiday at the national level in Bhutan is Dasain. This is during Dashara, the last day. What we call as Vijayadasami is celebrated by Nepali Hindus as Dasain, and during that time they prepare a dish out of rice flour and jaggery like this, which will also have mild sweet only. And Nepalese kitchen is known for homemade pickles. They make pickles out of radish, out of red chili, green chili by adding mustard oil and spices. So vegetables are also used in preparing pickles like ginger pickle and a whole variety of it. It will be sun-dried and kept soaked in oil for days together. No other seasoning will be done. Everything is very natural. That's why the comment says it is neither sophisticated nor artificial. So farmer believe in appreciating nature. There is a sustainable agricultural practice and well-being, and nature is considered as a living phenomenon because 70% of forest cover is maintained. Rest of the percentage is for inhabitant settlement. 70% of the country surrounded by mountains and surrounded by forest cover. So it is a green country in true sense of the term. The ecological balance is maintained because all the natural forms are personified as deities and they are worshipped with rituals and offering of food and drinks to all the natural forms whenever they are worshipped. Changes are inevitable, but still, Bhutan's late entrance into the development scene of the world is a blessing in disguise. Therefore, today we are reverting by celebrating indigenous knowledge. That also adds to the dynamic ambience and dynamic culture of Bhutan. It is no longer considered backward, rather its indigenous wisdom is celebrated by the world. But still there is a dilemma that is present today, how to converge the sustained improvement and the economic and spiritual well-being of the people. So economically the country has to grow, but without losing their spiritual ties. How to make a balance between these two is the challenge that the government and the leaders face today. And when I talk about governance, still we have king as the head of the state. And today we have, these days we have the fifth king. So his concern is to find a balance between beliefs and realities, because without foregoing beliefs, they want to grow to face the challenges and realities of the world, because Bhutan is no longer an isolated nation. It has opened its doors to the world. But they maintain the belief, even though agriculture is sustainable, revered stomachs never go empty, is the belief with which agriculture is practiced with sustainable environment. So in the interest of time, let me stop here with one message. So usually in my conference talk, I would make sure to leave a message to the audience. In other domains, sometimes the message might be superficial or it might be difficult to practice. But food is so connected with our everyday occurrence that we have to eat to live. This takeaway message, I want every one of you to practice, because it does not depend on external factors, rather it is related to us. Every individual can make an effort to practice this message in your life, that is, no want, no waste. So when we eat, let us not put excess food items in our plate. Let us take what is wanted for us, and let us not waste any food item. So no waste and no want and no waste can be a very practical principle that we can apply in our lives, is the message that I would like to give you. So during my vacation, I'm not only finding information to build this paper on food, I'm also experiencing certain things. So there is a convergence of educational, academic and experiential learning, which made me immerse myself into this conference theme. I am staying in one of a public charity organization to serve the elders, and this organization known as Anandam is located in Chennai in a place known as Ambattur. It is a home, free home for senior citizens, where there are 110 elders without living here and without any income to support them are staying here, and it is run by a woman with a very strong team. So whenever food is served, they chant prayers, Om, it begins with 3 times, followed by the saying, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. So the whole world, everyone, the universe, they pray for the well-being of the people in the universe. And saying Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi, they bless the donors. It is a charity organization that is purely run by the donation by donors on everyday basis. For every meal, they have to depend on the donation, and it is a 20-year plus organization, started in 2003. Annadata Sukhi Bhava. So those who give me food, let them be well. So this is a blessing with which the elders eat their food. So I am connecting this with Avayar. So how can we forget our tradition? Though I talk about Bhutanese cuisine in order to create a new knowledge among the audience, I am well grounded and rooted in my heritage. So I would like to end my talk with the saying by Avai Pati. So how can we forget her? Avayar's Nalvari. I am reminded of Avayar's words daily when I serve the elders. So this is me engaged in the serving of food, starting from coffee in the morning, then porridge, then food, lunch, tea, and then dinner, and guests are coming. Music festival is happening now, so I am engaged in a complete service. That made me little hectic to spare time for this conference too. Let me recite this Venba by Avayar in Tamil. ஒரு நாள் உணவை ஒழி என்றால் ஒழியாய், இரு நாளுக்கு ஏல் என்றால் ஏலாய், ஒரு நாளும் என் நோவு அறியாய் இடும்பை கூர் என் வயிறே உன்னோடு வாழ்தல் அரிது. She says to the stomach, it is difficult to live with you because when I say I should not feel hungry today, I have to fast, then we will feel hungry. We cannot skip the meal, it is very difficult. When there is plenty of food, if we want to fill our stomach for 2 days, because there are many dishes that you want to eat for 2 days or 3 days, we cannot store the food for 2 days or 3 days in our stomach. Yen novel, this is the disease. This food itself, we are struggling a lot to fill our stomach by earning money. So this is, the stomach is not knowing the pain and the labor that is exerted for food. So she says, it is very difficult to live with you. We can't miss a day's food. We cannot take 2 days food in advance, and the stomach does not understand the pain that it suffers. That is why Buddha calls it as pasipini. It is a disease. Sometimes it becomes a disease. So the stomach is called as irksam because it is very difficult to live with you, and we have to listen to the command of the stomach at the end. So let's not overburden it, and let's practice the principle, no want, no waste. Yeah, thank you. This is my service. I have a short video, if time permits, 6 minutes. Organizers. You can just watch it because the volume is less. Bhutan is also known for GNH. It is a GNH nation known for gross national happiness. So this video will give you a glimpse of the practices of the nation. Even without audio, you can watch it. This is prepared by our students. So these are the greener pastures, and this is the landscape. This is how shift cultivation is practiced. You can find mountains all around, and the settlements are scattered. Engagement in agricultural practices, which is a very traditional practice. You can see how labor intensive it is. But the rice quality is too good. They also depend on Assam for mass rice purchase. Because irrigation facilities are not so good, they have to depend on rain. These are our students, and this is their national dress. This is for women. These are school kids in high altitude places. So this is the dance. See, my president is dancing, faculty members, support staff, students. There is no hierarchy here. When it comes to culture, all of us come together, including prime minister, ministers, whoever visit, we join and dance. So spirituality is always present. You can see the monk body, some of them dressed as a monk body. So religion is at a higher pedestal, and there is so much of uniformity without difference of opinion. There is no question of who are you to say this, I won't follow this. There is no such controversy. There is uniform decision. If one thing is said by the head, all of them will follow it. So during lockdown, isolation became so easy. Lockdown means lockdown. No one will come to the road to see how lockdown is happening. So these are the monks. They remain in meditation for 3 months, and after 3 months, they come with a bowl to get the food from the commoners. So, and they give the blessings. This is called retreat. They will be in retreat without talking to anyone, in silence for 3 months on a higher mountain pass. So this is a prayer wheel that is rotated. It is part of the culture. And religious discourses happen frequently, and it is not that one has to retire to attend religious discourses. Everybody will attend, find time to go. Even businessmen, shopkeepers, if it's happening for 21 days, they will leave the shop and they will go and attend religious discourses. This is the king, fifth king, who is witnessing the development activities and visiting hospitals. His initiative is tremendous and a very dedicated person. That is his father, who was the fourth king. King also has to walk. Yeah, this video is just to give you a glimpse of what I'm talking about. You can check for further things in YouTube. This is just a visual treat. Thank you everyone for your patient listening.
The aroma of ideas fritters. Now we break for lunch to nourish both body and mind. The venue for the lunch is auditorium dining hall. Enjoy your meal. Immediately after the break of lunch, there are a few instructions that could be noted right now. The participants are instructed to get back to the allotted halls. The presenters are instructed to get back to the allotted halls, and the participants, they can get back to the same hall for viewing the virtual presentation, or they can also join in the following halls to view the direct presentations.
Yeah, if there are any questions, let us talk over lunch. We can interact and continue to exchange ideas. That's what conferences are for. So due to the unavailability of time, I'm winding up, but I'm open for discussion and questions. You're welcome anytime. Thank you.
I repeat, the venue for the lunch is auditorium dining hall. Now, right now we are breaking for lunch. Soon after the lunch, the participants are requested to get back to the allotted halls. The presenters are also requested to get back to the allotted halls. The participants, they can remain in the same hall for viewing the virtual presentation, or they can also join for the direct presentations.